This episode of Hel Talk will be clarified in a future comprehensive rules update. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hel Talk. As always, we are sponsored by our lovely unofficial sponsors, Cliff Nut Butter Bars. If you are looking for the best and most premium peanut butter bar that you can purchase today and any day in the future, look no further than Cliff Nut Butter Bars. What do we want to talk about real quick? Just me. It's just me, your boy Matt. I want to just kind of a little complain, I guess. No, I'm not really complaining, but more pleading, right? Yeah, with Whiz Kids, the we really kind of need a due date or an ETA on this comprehensive rulebook update that we have been promised for over a year now. For those that are unaware or haven't been following, more and more frequently, I suppose, I guess, I don't know if necessarily is more frequently, but we have been seeing in the official WIN forums for the rules questions, answers that are given, which may not be completely supported by the current comprehensive rule book. And the answers are then followed up with the phrase that this will be clarified in a future comprehensive rule book update. So, what is it looking like we're expecting is coming down the pipeline? I mean, it's not always good to kind of guess and anticipate, but I bring this up now because WizKids has made, I'll say like one and a half, but definitely one, potentially two rulings, which very much muddy the water uh, in, when it comes to the current rules of HeroClix. So they made a ruling on the Arkillo character from Lantern Legacy, I believe. And they also made a ruling on whether, characters being attacked with penetrating damage and whether or not they can roll for impervious. Both of them are a little confusing. I would say they're confusing when you look at them through the lens of the current comprehensive rulebook. And as I said before, there's few other rulings that have been sprinkled in the forums like this in the past, but these two are much more impactful. One of them was already kind of changed. The Arkilla one, when it originally came out, the way it was worded wasn't very great, and then they changed the phrasing of it to still have the same conclusion, but try to justify it in different ways, I suppose. The exact question and and the answer of it really isn't important. Again, what is important is that the the end justification that WizKids is officially telling us is that basically, while this ruling isn't currently supported by the current comprehensive rulebook, just go along with it, and then later, at some point, there's going to be a new comprehensive rulebook which does support this ruling. So they are in an attempt to not have to go back and re-rule and change the answers of questions that that they're answering. They're uh, do we want to call it future proofing these answers in some sense by looking at them through the lens of the new comprehensive rulebook, which is one that, no mere mortal has ever seen, but the gods at WizKids, of course, know all about it. It's not, it begs the question as to why WizKids is even answering or even bothering to take the time to answer these questions if they're not going to answer them in the lens of the current rulebook. Because it's not it's not informative whatsoever when some of the answers that they're giving just again don't really make sense. The Arquilla one is one that really doesn't make sense. It boils down to the rule book, the current rule book explaining how changing action types revolves around um, using powers specifically. So if someone, the example that they give in the rulebook right now is if someone uses barrier as free, then any effect that wants to check to see what type of action that character was given would see it as a free action. Um, but it doesn't currently cover when you give someone a close as free or a range as free. Um, the character in the current rule book is still given a close action, but it's also free. So WizKids seems to want to move away from that type of logic, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with overhauling and ideally simplifying and clarifying the comprehensive rulebook. They could do that in many ways, including this one, but they're making this ruling, again, with the knowledge of what the comprehensive rulebook will eventually be, and we're all left in the dark. Which again just brings me back to the point of when are we getting this comprehensive rulebook update? Who knows? We are obviously not going to get it anytime soon. And when I say soon, I mean, we're probably not going to get it this month. The Hero Clicks for Huntingtons, so it's currently May 2nd. We're not going to, Hero Clicks for Huntingtons is in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks technically. We're not going to get a comprehensive rulebook between now and then. It would make no sense. They're not going to overhaul the game less than 2 weeks before a major event. Then in between that, the next major event after that is Nationals, which is roughly a month after HeroClix for Huntington's, after the ROC Cup. Are we expecting to see an overhaul of the comprehensive rulebook between then and Nationals? Perhaps. I don't see that as very likely. So that leads me to believe that if a comprehensive rulebook update is coming this year, if it is coming this year, and we have absolutely no evidence to suggest that it will. In fact, we have more evidence to suggest that it won't, considering it's already been more than 12 full calendar months, I believe, since they've said that this was coming. It's either going to, if it comes this year, it's either going to come in between Nationals and Worlds or immediately after Worlds. To me, it would make sense. I know WizKids have stepped away from this kind of philosophy. Remember when rotation used to occur in between Nationals and Worlds? and their justification was, well, yeah, it's like we don't want people necessarily playing the exact same team that won nationals at Worlds because that's kind of a little stale, and the good players will be able to adapt to any changes that we throw at them in between, nationals and worlds due to rotation. So good players will just adapt and play the good teams. It may be the case that they're going to do something similar with a comprehensive rulebook overhaul, but a an overhaul or really any significant change to the comprehensive rulebook is vastly more impactful than a rotation. Just saying, hey, these pieces you can't play them anymore. That's much more easily to navigate uh, as a player because you just go, okay, well, what's the if I'm playing a certain style of team, what's the next best thing? Okay, what else do I play with Rogue Prime? You know what I mean? What that's again, that's not a very difficult thing to manage as a good player. Sometimes it's frustrating if there is certain pieces that get retired or rotated, excuse me, early. But again, building the team is with a specific uh, pool of game elements. That's not a difficult thing to do for an experienced player. But even for experienced players, what is sometimes difficult to do is more or less adopting or kind of erasing old habits of old rules and replacing them, with the habits that are, the hopefully the good habit that the new rules, whatever those may be, provide or would like you to follow. I don't know how to whatever you know what I'm trying to say. So you will get a much higher percentage of players that will be frustrated not only maybe during the team building process, but during just the gameplay phase where they're in the middle of a game and they're getting frustrated, like, oh, I forgot the rules don't work this way, and now they work this way, and so personally, I find that actually to be one of the more interesting kind of phases of the game where major change happens. I particularly enjoy when band list changes and restricted lists and rotation. I those are in my opinion, my most favorite periods of hero clicks where there's maybe a little bit of unknown elements. People don't know what's going to do well. Maybe not exactly, and so I really like that, and I think with the way that I understand, the rules of the game, I think that any changes to those, I also enjoy those. I really, when they change, the PAC, change what standard powers do, change what I mean. Charge and running shot didn't used to be worded the way they currently are. I mean, I say not too long ago, but it's been quite some time. But the it's remember when incapacitate used to deal damage? you know, remember before Wonder Woman? Yeah, that was a thing. So changes like that, I typically enjoy. So I look forward to this comprehensive rulebook update, whatever it may hold. But it's really kind of time for WizKids to at least give us some um, hint, some guess, some whatever you want to call it, as to when this is supposed to be released. I don't think it's reasonable for us as players to expect WizKids to not only announce but deliver on a hard deadline. Very, it's extraordinarily rare that WizKids do that and have ever done that. But I think it's time to stop providing answers to rules questions with that little PS statement, that caveat of, hey, I know this answer doesn't really make sense, but it will later. And again, this has been going on for a long time. So when is later? you know, um, is it again? It's because it's not a couple weeks from now. It's probably not going to be a month from now. Could be a couple months from now. But if it's not a couple months from now, it's going to be what, 6 months from now? And then if it's not 6 months from now, which would mean that we've been waiting for, again, at that point, we'd be waiting for over a year and a half. Then when is it going to be? Who knows? So, again, just to clarify, I don't need and I don't expect WizKids to provide us this update right now. It's not what I'm asking for. I just would like them to say, "Hey, we're officially posting, making a press room post about we are working on a comprehensive rulebook update. We are, we've made significant progress. We anticipate the completion and posting of this new rulebook to come in, they can give a quarter, a 3 month period, coming in quarter three, quarter four, whatever. And just throw out a lofty, date. Just to, I think, let us all know that, hey, this is something that it's actually being worked on, uh, by real people. Oh, yeah, we don't need to see any more answers in the rules. Because again, it just begs the question, like I said, why even answer these questions if just answer them with the current rules or just don't answer them at all? I don't know. It is what it is. What else is going on? We've Silver Age stuff is coming up, as I mentioned. Hero Cooks for Huntington's is in a couple weeks, less than a couple weeks. Um, it's looking like, based on a couple of ROC regionals that have happened just earlier today, that the pieces that have usually been good are still good. We are seeing, I believe, Colossus Prime do good. We are seeing things like Arachnite do well. We are seeing, maybe, I think there's a Ghost Rider team that's still doing well. We are seeing, I think we've seen a Phoenix Thor team do well. Yeah, just we saw a Camo team do well. So yeah, things that did well are still good. Um, good rollouts are super good. Good stats are super good. Playing teams that sometimes have both of those things are also even better. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what people bring. We have a ROC regional next week in Wisconsin that I'll be attending. I'm excited to see what people are going to bring for that. Um, and we'll see if, based on the results that we saw this weekend, if people elect to, I don't want to say copy paste, because I believe at this point people may have already built their team. I know I have. But we'll see if they adapt their team with a week to go based on the results of other events of similar size. And what else is going on? I don't know. Like I said, this will be the first time that I attend HeroClix for Huntington's in the ROC Cup, so I'm excited about that. Um, yeah, I know in a previous episode, I thought we said that we were going to talk about Adepticon, which is kind of like old news, really, really old news at this point. I was trying to talk to our friend Steve. Steve was the winner of the Fellowship Award over the weekend at Adepticon. So definitely congratulations to him. And I think I think uh, I think him being selected to win the Fellowship Award makes a lot of sense if you've never played against Steve, which is his HC unit's name. I think is Bootlist 69. If you never played against him, he's a really great guy. Always have a blast. But like I said, really glad that he won that award. Got some extra prizing for it. So happy for him. But hopefully we can get him on an episode in the near future, or even in the distant future. Hopefully we can get him on an episode. And Steve, if you're listening, yeah, still, let me know your schedule. We can do a quick talk even. But that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. If I go any longer, it won't be a quick episode. So hopefully we'll see. The Yeah, WizKids, please give us an ETA on the comprehensive rulebook update. Looking forward to next week, seeing what Silver Age savageness people bring, and looking forward to Heracles for Huntington's the week after, seeing some more Silver Age craziness. And I don't know, there's a lot of interesting sealed events, and I don't know, just formats that I'm not generally used to playing in. So it'll be fun all around. Yeah, and then see you in nationals the in June. Hopefully, we see some interesting stuff there. But my money is that team, maybe with a certain Rogue Prime, might still win that event. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully somebody realizes that there's other good stuff in the game. But man, is she just so consistently strong. But I don't know. A lot of good stuff. That's it for today or tonight, or whenever you're listening. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Hel Talk. Talk to you again next time. And oh man, there was one more thing that I forgot to say. But as I usually say to friends and colleagues, is that if I forgot it, it must mean that it wasn't that important. So take that as a piece of advice.